like I've said before, many people didn't really know that CB radios, is my Germany. Like I say, at some point in time, I purchased Germany, and I basically said, "You're working for me now. You're mine. We are going to make it better, and you are going to follow every command that I stipulate." And they said, "Okay." And so my teams of people started to build. We built it. We built a great country, very powerful, very amazing. The first mega advanced scientific country ever, basically. Then we went to Russia because I wanted to go to Russia, and I also bought Poland. I bought Italy, and when I bought a country, basically, like I said, the first champagne. Basically, my scientists had developed it, and I started to sell it. And like I said, we received so many orders. I built a I had build a champagne factory basically in order to actually meet demand and orders. And I was the largest. I was the first and only supplier of champagne basically. This was back in the day, basically. You know, later on, I basically used my films and everything to basically be the number one rope seller, the number one this, the number one that, because it turns out if you make a film about it, people will know about it, and then they will order from you or me, really. And later on, people understood this to be fact. But like I said, my companies were so huge. Like we're the only ones. We were the only ones that could actually meet demand. Like I could produce that many ropes, and I had that ropes of that sufficient quality. And like I said, we were the number one in ropes and everything else like that from Russia, my Russian rope company basically, and other stuff. Anyway, though, it gets really confusing. And it's really big. It's really huge. It's 100,000 years of basically invention and all this other stuff. And basically how I was the American president and everyone knew it. And everyone loved me. I was great and everyone cared about me because basically I stopped everything. And like I changed everything. And like I say, at a time when there was disease and pestilence and all kinds of other stuff in the world, I created this base that was somewhere around Auschwitz or something like that, where basically people would go in and then they would be decontaminated, and then they would get clothes and shoes and stuff like that, and then they would go out the other side and be shipped to one of my towns or cities, all nice and clean, or back home, all nice and clean and ready for life, basically. In China, we were kind of running out of shoes, so we went with the wood shoes a little bit. The little wooden. Plus, there's a lot of mud in China, like I said. So to keep people from the mud, we made these little wooden shoes with these little wooden things on the bottom, and people would walk around because it was really muddy and slippery. So it was kind of like a way to like get around and stuff. And I had those clogs or whatever. They're like little wooden shoes, and people would walk around because there was no ground really. It was all just mud and stuff. So it worked. So it worked all right. Like I said, taking care of billions of people is kind of hard, especially. But Lucifer Star, Agent Star, me, we did it, or I was doing it. I was working on it. I had people working on it and selling them goods or giving them stuff. I had my different people in different groups, and I have had for a very long time. Anyway, it's complicated, So, I mean. Like I say, lots of people would sell drugs and twist things out of shape and all that other stuff. Anyway. And it goes down to basically if you're known, you have more power than someone who's not known. Someone like me. And exactly who was I anyway? No one knew who I was, really, other than a name, Lucifer Star. And the truth was I was an epic creator, and I was hardly ever around. Like I said, if you go back a little ways, I'm not here for like a billion years. I was off out there. Cruising around, I had 9 other races that I had created, and I would go from planet to planet to planet to planet, basically spending time with each of them, a couple of 100 million years maybe, at most. Mostly just the new ones. I'd create a race of people or life form type, and then I'd put them on a planet, and we would build and we would do stuff, and then we would basically, and then I would build a ship and I would leave. Goodbye. And they would be off in the galaxy, and then they would be on their planet and exist longer, and probably reproduce, and eventually go off to space themselves. I don't know. Like, I had my different managers and group leaders and all that, And I did this throughout for 400 planets out there in the galaxy, universe, for a very long time. So anyway, and a long, long time ago, I created the particles and particle physics and everything else like that. And then, and then, like I said, we started the suns, or the stars, not suns, but we started the stars, and we were building stars and basically starting the particle creation so much more life could be in this universe. So anyway, but it's one of those things, you start it and you do it, and then it basically just, it does what it wants to. Life and thousands or millions of people go the way they want to. Maybe they go left, maybe they go right, maybe they go straight, maybe they do whatever. It's really unknown what, like I said, I've been in existence for 100 trillion years. There's a lot of things that can easily get confused. So, anyway. And a lot of other people out there in the world that were a lot more public and a lot more known about than I did. Another thing, like I say, Eddie Murphy, I was paying him to try and be a father figure. I don't know if he actually was. Like, I've heard some really nasty, horrible things about him, like how he got in a war with Eddie Murphy and even wanted to, and got in a war with Robin Williams and even wanted to kill Robin Williams. And might even have killed his wife. Like, Eddie Murphy might have killed Robin Williams' wife. I have no idea why. Like, I don't know. There's allegations of a lot of horrible things. Back in the day, there's Richard Pryor and everything. And like I said, a lot of people didn't know I was out of contact. A lot of people, there's a lot of chaos. Anyway. Yeah. So, and then there's Rodney and all that and what he was doing on this world. And, there's people pretending to be me, pretending to be Lucifer, speaking on my behalf. And it's like, I didn't say that. I didn't want that to happen. What the fuck? And it's like, and there's a lot of people who are like, oh, he's just a man, let's kill him. And like I say, people were planning on killing me. And it's like, I am the creator of humanity and 12 other races. Like, what the fuck? So, it's like I named America and I was the president of America. And apparently Eddie Murphy supposedly wanted to be president of America instead of me or something like that. And he wanted to kill me. He also wanted to kill the Chinese government leaders. Like, I don't know what his fucking deal was. But apparently he had plans. So anyway, plans to be a star. It's like, that's my name. That's my last name. So, you're not. Unless you're related to me, and you're not. Anyway, like I said, Lucifer Star. I'm a person. I had companies. I had actors, too, that I paid. And fed. And other things. So, yeah, somebody apparently realized that they could lie and say whatever they wanted. And were more public than me. So, yeah. Anyway, a lot of confusion. Like, oh, well, whatever. Anyway, China was dealing with some of it because anyway, and then there's Germany.